Hey there, and welcome back to the Reflux Revolution podcast. I'm Molly Pelletier, registered dietitian, leader in nutrition for acid reflux, GERD, and LPR, and a former GERD sufferer myself. After years of struggling in silence with reflux, I made it my life's mission to help other people overcome their reflux, take back their health, and become the best version of themselves. In this podcast, we are cutting through the noise, providing practical, evidence-based solutions, and giving you the tools to understand and manage your reflux with confidence. So let's dive into the episode. Quick disclaimer before we begin that the Reflux Revolution podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not meant to diagnose, treat, or cure any medical condition, and it should not replace personalized medical care or medical nutrition therapy from a dietitian. Today we're diving into a topic that I truly feel is one of the biggest missing pieces in reflux management today. If you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, I know stress is bad for me, I know stress is contributing, but my reflux is out of control. How could I ever get my stress under control when my reflux is out of control? Hear me out. I used to believe that too, that my stress was totally out of my control. I thought that if I just ate the right foods and took the right supplements, then my reflux would go away. But no matter how perfect my diet was when I was struggling with GERD, and even if I took the right supplements at the right times, if I was having a super stressful day, my reflux was worse. And this is something that we see across the board with our clients too, is that their reflux gets worse on stressful days. And also, 99% of the clients that come to see us, their reflux either started or worsened after a period of high stress or trauma, maybe after a divorce or a move or a change in their job that was really stressful. Most people do experience this uptick after a really stressful time. And this is because reflux and stress go hand in hand. So in today's episode, we're going to break down how stress actually causes and impacts reflux. Because it's not just in your head and there's real science behind it. We're also going to talk about why gut health and the nervous system are so closely linked and practical, simple strategies that our clients have used to see over 50% reduction in their symptoms within just 2 weeks of consistent implementation. So really great strategies to take away in today's episode. I want to start by talking about why stress and anxiety causes reflux. So if you subscribe to me on YouTube, you've probably heard me talk about this before, but there is a physiological response to stress that happens in your body that down-regulates your digestive function. And this is a biological mechanism because if you're in a state of fight or flight, if you're in the sympathetic side of that nervous system where maybe your body feels like there could be an emergency, digestion isn't the most important thing in an emergency. We need our blood to our limbs, we need our blood to our brain and our internal organs. So basically your body's like, you know what, we are in fight or flight. Something bad could be happening. So I'm going to down-regulate digestion and I'm going to slow things down. Or in some cases, I'm going to speed things way up and just evacuate the body. I know we've all been there when we've had that nervous diarrhea or like nervous running to the bathroom with cramps. Like we've totally all been there. But it can also happen that when you've been in a chronic state of stress, which is what we most often see, is the digestive system almost like slows down or motility is disrupted. So motility is how things move from your mouth, through your esophagus, down through your stomach, and through the intestines. And when we're in fight or flight, when we're in that anxious, chronic stress state, motility doesn't really work as well. Like we don't get that downward flow through the body that we're looking for. So motility can be disrupted. And then also a really important part of your parasympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic is that rest and digest side of the nervous system, is the vagus nerve. And that vagus nerve plays a really important role in terms of digestive enzyme production, stomach acid production. And if we're not in that rest and digest state enough, then we can actually not produce enough digestive enzymes. We can actually not produce enough stomach acid. Or we can produce stomach acid at the wrong times. So it can really kind of differ person to person here and how your body responds to stress. But that Digestive juice production is another reason. And then also the sphincter control. Your nervous system actually controls the opening and closing of the sphincters, which are supposed to hold your stomach contents, digestive fluids in the right place. Your lower esophageal sphincter is supposed to hold stomach contents in the stomach and prevent it from going into the esophagus. But when we're chronically stressed, this sphincter doesn't really get the message to close at the right times. So there's a huge major connection. And there's also even some more reasons that I could go deeper into, like esophageal hypersensitivity. When we're stressed, our nerves in our esophagus are hypersensitive to any kind of movement. And so this is really common that we actually see this after reflux has resolved, that people still feel symptoms because of this hypersensitivity. And this is often in the context of stress. So many reasons, but those are just a few of those evidence-based reasons why stress can contribute to reflux or hypersensitize the esophagus. If you are constantly in fight or flight mode, there's also a level of hypervigilance and symptom anxiety that can happen. So when we're really anxious, we can be body scanning a lot. We can be worrying about our symptoms and almost like hyper aware of every little movement, every little sensation in our throat and esophagus, which can make us focus on discomfort more. It can make us feel these symptoms more intensely than they actually are. And that is hypervigilance, which is really common in this scenario as well. I've had so many clients tell me like I was doing fine and then I read something really scary on the internet or on a Facebook group and then my symptoms just came roaring back. Or I've had clients say, if I think about my symptoms, I feel them. But if I don't think about them, if I'm really busy, if I'm out and about or having a really good day with friends and family, and I sometimes can go a whole day without symptoms because I'm not thinking about it. That's that mind connection as well and that hypervigilance piece. The good news is you have a lot more control over this than you might think. And I want to share with you a few key strategies that our clients will use that have been really effective in helping them reduce anxiety and hypervigilance to help them get control of their reflux. One of the most evidence-based ways to stimulate that parasympathetic rest and digest response is breathing, deep diaphragmatic breathing. And when you breathe, you want to make sure that you're breathing with that lower portion of the lungs first. So your belly expands and then rib cage expands. Think about expanding outward so that you're taking a nice full deep breath and then exhale. Try to lengthen that exhale, trying to make that exhale twice as long as the inhale. This is called 1 to 2 breathing, when your exhale is twice as long as your inhale. And this can really help soothe and calm anxiety. And it also is using your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is a really important part of your lower esophageal junction. And diaphragmatic breathing has been shown in research to help prevent reflux because of the role of the diaphragm on the lower esophageal junction. So deep breath in, let your belly expand, breathe all the way in, and then slow exhale. Exhales twice as long as the inhale. And do that like as many times as you can remember throughout the day. Like let's aim for 15 to 20 times a day so that you're really doing this like throughout the day, in between meetings, when you feel stressed, whenever you remember. The more you can deep breathe, the more you're going to help your body shift into parasympathetic nervous system, where you can actually digest well and your motility works well and your sphincters work well. This helps to stimulate the vagus nerve as well so that we are optimizing digestion. This also works really well if you can pair this with a mantra. So if you can pair this deep breath with some sort of a mantra, sometimes our clients will use I am safe, I am healing, I am grateful, or you could think of something you're grateful for, or think of a person or a place that you're grateful for. Whatever mantra kind of helps you feel calm and secure can also be a very powerful nervous system stimulator. The second tip I want to share with you is to reframe the way that you think about symptoms and even the language that you're using around symptoms. One of the dietitians here at Flora, Allie, she was talking to me the other day about how one of her clients had a lot of anxiety around her symptoms, and they actually stopped calling them symptoms altogether. And they started just calling them feelings. These are just feelings because feelings pass. There's this sort of stigma around symptoms, and it makes us feel like we're sick or something is wrong with us, where actually reflux is a really normal part of life. Everyone has reflux, and there's some level of reflux that's totally normal. But what's not normal is when it just is happening all the time. It's causing inflammation, it's causing irritation. But symptoms that word even can kind of make us feel stuck, make us feel anxious. So thinking about this as just feelings, this is going to pass, and removing that sort of language from it has helped some of our clients. So shifting the way that you think about this, and then when you get these feelings, these symptoms, know that this is going to pass. The way you feel right now is not the way you're going to feel forever. So breathing through that and not letting yourself spiral when you do get a symptom is so important, because it doesn't mean you're making progress. It's just your body giving you more information. The third tip I want to share for your nervous system is what we call nervous system snacks. Nervous system snacks are little breaks throughout the day. They could be 30 seconds to 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes if you have the time, but they're these little breaks throughout the day for your nervous system. I used to be so bad at this. I used to sit at my desk and just clients back to back to back to back all day, every day of the week. And I couldn't figure out why at the end of the week I was so burnt out and I was so stressed and just not feeling my best. And it's because I wasn't taking breaks. And then what would happen is the only time I actually let myself take a break was to eat. So I was only taking a break to eat, and I needed a break so bad that I would end up just snacking all day. I would just kind of go and snack and like stress eat because I wasn't giving myself any other types of breaks. And so as an adult, sometimes we don't really think about that. We don't think about like, how am I allowing myself a break? And it doesn't have to be food. It can be food. If you're working on taking more meal breaks, that's also amazing. But nervous system snacks are truly just nourishment for your nervous system. So maybe it's 1 minute of deep breathing, 1 minute of going outside, 2 minutes of looking at a book about Nordic culture, if you love Nordic culture like me, or if maybe it's taking a walk, doing a little bit of self-massage, massaging your jaw, doing some stretches, doing 5 minutes of gentle movement, stretches at your desk, doing a meditation on the Flora app or the reflux hypnotherapy on the app, like whatever helps you feel calm and safe is great. So just scheduling these into your day, and it can make a big difference over time. One of my clients, Sarah, she was a super busy CEO, and she really knew that stress was contributing to her symptoms. Like her symptoms were worse on stressful days, and she was really seeing this correlation of how her symptoms started after she was promoted. And we implemented these nervous system snacks, and she was doing this twice a day, 5 minutes, either moving or just breathing or just laying on the floor doing absolutely nothing. And these breaks helped her drastically reduce her symptoms. She had over 50% improvement in 2 weeks, which is very fast. Like that's really, really quick progress. But it was amazing for her. Like if you can find what actually helps you reduce stress, I guarantee that it will help your reflux. The fourth thing I want to share is just cutting back on information overload. So from the moment we wake up, if we check our phone first thing, we are constantly being bombarded with information. And this is like not the way that humans were meant to live, in my opinion. I think that that's this constant stimuli, constant information, constantly knowing what's going on in the world is really hard on your nervous system. So having good boundaries with technology, like really use the filters that your phone comes with. Your phone comes with these filters that you can turn off notifications at certain times of day. So this has really helped to me boundary-wise with work, with social media, is just not getting any notifications about social media after 7 p.m. or on the weekends, like taking breaks and really dialing in when we're using technology, keeping a little phone box outside your room so you charge your phone outside of your room, and doing some reading at night. This is really, really helpful for your nervous system. And that blue light right in your eyes right before bed, it actually down-regulates your natural production of melatonin. And you need that melatonin at night because melatonin is what stimulates your lower esophageal sphincter to close better at night. So blue light right before bed is not helping nighttime reflux, and it's not helping your nervous system. So really having boundaries around that and a little bit of discipline around when you're using technology. I've gotten really disciplined this week about not looking at my phone until I'm done with my meditation or my journaling. Sometimes I'm really tempted to look at my notifications, see messages from clients or whatnot, but I have to just do my meditation first. I have to do my journaling first. And I have such a better day when I do that. Like my nervous system is in such a better place when I can really start my day with nervous system support, and everything can wait. Everything can wait. That's what I try to tell myself and my clients. And I know it can be hard, but it's definitely a practice worth cultivating. So before we wrap up, I want to share a little bit about my own experience with this connection between nervous system, stress, and reflux. So my reflux definitely got worse after a time of really, really high stress. I was working really hard in my undergraduate degree in nutrition science, and I was very overwhelmed with like the biochemistry and all of these classes. And I also had transferred schools, and I was living in a single brownstone apartment in Boston, and I was just like totally alone. And I really feel like disconnection is a big root cause of a lot of disease. I think that the fact that I was alone, I was disconnected from friends, from family, from myself, from purpose, from mission, like I really was just totally disconnected. And I think that humans are not meant to be that way. And I really caution you to think about this in your own life. Is like, are you missing some sort of connection? Or is there a part of your life where connection isn't very strong? Is it maybe connection to nature, connection to friends and family, connection to your partner, connection to yourself, connection to your purpose in life? And if one of these areas of connection is not very strong, that can be dysregulating to the nervous system. So thinking about like, where do I need to feel more connected? Is it like with what I'm here to do in this lifetime, or connection to my friends, connection to a person in my life? Really thinking about this for your own life can unlock a greater sense of calm and peace. And I think connection is healing. Connection is so important. And so I've thought a lot about this recently in terms of like building community on this page. I really hope that this podcast and my YouTube channel is a place where you can feel connected to a community that is rooting for you, that is supporting you. I am rooting for you, and I hope that you can get some value from these episodes and from my page, and know that there is support for you, whether that's in the Flora app, in the Flora Facebook group. There is a community that is rooting for you, and there is hope for the future. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with a friend. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast, my YouTube channel, so we can stay connected and you can join our community here. I just released a podcast episode all about the connection between reflux and histamine issues as well. That was really popular, so make sure you go rewatch that episode back. And thank you so much for listening and subscribing. I'll see you in the next episode.